One review, book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He is a cardiologist and electrophysiologist, no other than Mr. or Dr. James Kneller.
All right, Daniel. Thank you so much for the kind introduction. I love being on your show. I love the theme of the 101 book review, and it's an honor to be here. You are
Ye-
correct. I'm a full time practicing cardiologist and cardiac electrophysiologist, meaning I'm a heart rhythm specialist. But then, in addition to that, I do concierge work and one on one work on helping motivated patients adapt natural therapies to treat their heart disease. And I'm very interested in natural therapies to improve heart health and to address cardiovascular conditions. And I work with people one on one to accomplish that for them individually. I do it for myself and have launched my new company, the Natural Cardiology Institute, where we are developing products and providing natural products for folks to lower their cholesterol, treat heart disease, and also improve their blood pressure. And those are all using natural products, and those will be available shortly through my website, which you were kind enough to introduce.
Dr. James Kneller, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. And today, let's talk about treating heart disease naturally. What inspired you to explore natural treatments for heart disease, and how did you begin this journey?
Yeah, thanks. So, I've been a cardiologist and I graduated from medical school in 2004, and have been a full-time cardiologist since 2011, treating a large volume of patients with heart disease, with hypertension, people with all stages of disease, from individuals who just have risk factors to people with end stage coronary disease and multiple heart attacks who are struggling to stay alive. And you start to realize the power of your profession. Pharmaceutical drugs can accomplish a lot for certain individuals, but then we also start to recognize the limitations in our practice and in the tools that are available to us. And so, just being pragmatic, you start to say, what else is out there that can help these individuals who are in front of us and come to us for help on a daily basis? And what natural products, natural substances might be available that can also benefit these patients? And how can I become knowledgeable about these things and then make them available to individuals? So it was really seeing the need and the gaps, the need of the patients and the gaps in the medical model that has driven me towards natural medicine.
How do you define natural treatments in the context of managing heart disease effectively, Dr. James?
Yeah, thanks. Natural treatments. For me, that's kind of a broad catch-all term for treatments that are non-pharmacological. So plant-based medicines. You know, the pharmaceutical system will develop a compound and it becomes a synthetic molecule that they incorporate into drugs and pills, and then prove in large clinical trials that there is sufficient benefit that they can recommend that the population at large takes these things. So I'm looking for solutions that are non-synthetic, if you will. So plant-based medicines like berberine, for example, or turmeric, or natural products like D-ribose sugar, which you don't derive from a plant specifically, but it is a compound that is not a pharmacologic entity. So a lot of the pharmaceuticals, they're inspired by plant medicine. So the scientists recognize that a plant has a certain benefit, and so they'll study the compound in a plant that from which those benefits are derived, and then they'll work to make a synthetic molecule that has a similar effect. But the molecule is often much stronger and only has one of the influences of that particular plant um, which then gets passed on to the patient. So it becomes a more hardcore form of plant medicine, which is a little bit limited in its spectrum of effects compared to the plant. That's kind of how I distinguish pharmaceuticals from natural in my own mind.
And what lifestyle changes have you found to be most impactful for improving heart health in naturally?
Yeah, lifestyle factors for improving heart health. Um, you know, we have to you it's it's basically about getting the big picture right. We have to eat appropriately, and in America, that's getting rid of all of the processed foods that we're exposed to, trying to adopt a plant-based whole food diet to the greatest extent possible. That doesn't include manufactured food and processed foods, and then using meats selectively that are very high quality, which unfortunately for us makes them expensive. But a lot of the cheap meats that are available to us, these are animals that are genetically modified. They're grown on aggressive hormones, and they have a lot of drugs in their system, and they're brought to market. That's what's passed on to us as beneficial meat sources. So, from a diet perspective, I would typically recommend sort of a Mediterranean style diet pattern. A lot of olive oil, nuts, whole grains, green leafy vegetables, and then selective use of seafoods and red meats like beef or lamb to accompany the diet. So I would start with diet. Then I would say probably what's next most important is reasonable exercise. You don't have to be a fitness guru, but we need a certain amount of cardiovascular movement. Either we're jogging or we're doing brisk, deliberate walking, breathing deeply, swinging our arms, and then combine that with some sort of resistance training. It's important to be lifting weights to strengthen the muscles in our arms and legs, the main muscle groups. I personally like to work out with kettlebells because it's simple. It's one device. You can use it in a bunch of creative ways to challenge your muscles, arms and legs, back, neck, in all sorts of directions. And then finally, the big area that really cannot be neglected is mental health. It is unbelievable how stress affects our health and our cardiovascular health. When we activate the hormones of stress in our body, this is so powerful, it can destroy our health. So we need to find a way to manage our mental states so we are not experiencing stress the way so many people do. That's removing the stressful things in our lives and also developing coping mechanisms. So even though those challenges and adverse situations are constantly presenting themselves to us, we can respond to them in a way that we don't react emotionally.
Can you share your experience with using supplements like Q10 or omega 3 fat acid for health?
Oh yeah. So, what natural products are beneficial and the most important, and I first got inspired by natural with a book by Dr. Stephen Sinatra, his metabolic cardiology book. This was a cardiologist, a very busy interventionalist on the East Coast who started to write about natural products and their benefit for heart health. And his books, he would summarize this tremendous volume of literature, scientific studies that are available in the medical literature to support his supplement recommendations. So two things were astonishing there. In reading the supplements he recommended and then using them and seeing benefit in real patients, and also realizing that there is this tremendous volume of clinical research that is available to us. It's published on the NIH website, but it's not integrated at all into modern medicine. All this science that we're basically ignoring. But to your question, the awesome foursome for cardiac health that he recommended in combination was L-carnitine, D-ribose, coenzyme Q10, and magnesium. These four in combination as the most basic set of important substrates to support heart muscle function. And I've enjoyed researching what each of those contributes to the heart and then beginning to recommend those to my patients as well as trying them for myself and seeing just how effective they can be for individuals who have heart failure, meaning the pump function of their heart is deteriorated. Normally a heart has good squeeze function. Someone with heart failure just has a little bit of squeeze function and the chamber becomes dilated. These people are in trouble and they have high mortality, and we load them up on the right pharmaceutical agents to help their hearts get stronger. And that works to a certain extent. But then when you can add some of these natural products to their regimen, they get to feel so much better. Their energy comes back, they're breathing easier, they're walking farther, they're doing better in their daily lives. And it also contributes to the improvement in their heart. And I saw that for the first time with those products. Like you mentioned, coenzyme Q10, but then also L-carnitine, which is an amino acid that gets incorporated into muscle. Magnesium, which is a very important electrolyte that has over 300 functions in our body and is very important to heart muscle function and to heart muscle energy production. And then finally, D-ribose, which is a structural sugar. It tastes sweet, but doesn't contribute any calories. And you need D-ribose for your body to produce ATP, which is the energy currency molecule that cells use to generate energy. Adenosine triphosphate, and they're breaking the phosphate bonds, and that's the cellular currency of energy. Often we don't have enough energy currency, literally energy money, if you like, because we can't get enough D-ribose sugar, which is this funny structural sugar that's hard to get through your diet. Your body has to make it, but it can only make it through very slow and clumsy metabolic processes. So if you supplement with it, you can help your body increase its ability to produce and use energy. And all of those working in combination, I've found to be very important. That said, my own books, that I'm coming out with and publishing soon with Mark Victor Hansen on finding freedom from statin medications, just beat it to lower cholesterol. We're summarizing 50 natural ingredients with wonderful scientific evidence to support heart health, to support the health of the cardiovascular system. And when we can use these things in combination, we can really start to expect the maximal benefit that's possible from natural therapies. That's going to be a very exciting book that I'm producing with Mark Victor Hansen, the famous author from Chicken Soup for the Soul. He lives
Yes.
here in Arizona, and we're now working together to get these out. But even more importantly, rather than just telling people what to take, we'll actually give them the product and say, this is why you should take these things. And here's a great product for you. All you have to do is use this product that we're providing, and you'll have the benefit of all of these natural therapies. And that becomes a product I can stand behind. I know what's in it. I know the quality control. I know the ingredients are true because I've done the third party testing. And you can say to individuals, this is a legitimate product, and I feel very good and safe about you taking these things to lower your blood pressure, to lower your cholesterol, to improve the health of your coronary arteries in your heart and throughout your body and brain, to prevent strokes. So it's nice to have the theory as well as the product. So it can go hand in hand for people. Because otherwise, you say, oh, go take certain supplements. And then folks are on their own to go look around, shop on Amazon, shop at the local store, and try to find those supplements, a source for those supplements that you're recommending for them, which, at least in the United States, is a very haphazard enterprise because the supplement industry is totally unregulated, no regulation. So anyone can put a bottle up and says this contains, coenzyme Q10. Please buy it and take it. But there's no regulatory body to ensure that that manufacturer is actually selling you CoQ10 in the amount that they're claiming and in the quality that they're claiming. So we often find when we test supplements, even that are sold in very good stores, studies have shown that they may just contain sawdust, or they may contain some other ingredient that might give you a little bit of a kick, but it's not actually from the product that you think you're getting. So like D-ribose, you think if you take D-ribose sugar, you should feel a little energy kick, and a lot of people do. But the supplement manufacturers say, well, we're just going to give you a little bit of caffeine, because it's a lot cheaper, and we can fool you to buy this and make a profit. So it becomes this very dangerous industry, the supplement industry, you know, and it's incumbent on individuals to find the high quality product that they can trust, and that's a hit and miss business. Um, so for me, part of recommending natural therapies is to be able to provide those natural therapies that I have formulated for myself and have done the third party testing for, and can be confident that the natural ingredients I'm claiming these things contain are actually in the bottle.
Mr. James or Dr. James, as a cardiologist and electrophysiologist, what are your short term and long term goals?
I love conventional cardiology and electrophysiology practice. The procedures that we do are state of the art, and the technology is phenomenal, and we do help individuals. So I always want to keep my hand in that. My personal goal is to really blow up natural medicine, if you will. I want to get this message out to as many people as possible worldwide, and to make my products available to as many people possible worldwide. And then do large population studies to prove the benefits of the natural products that we're using. Again, those studies, similar studies, have been performed in the past, and they're published and they get ignored. I'd like to perform my own, showing that a greater number of products used together can have even greater benefit, and to get those studies out into the scientific literature, and then become the voice advocating for the legitimacy of those products. So my life mission is to get the natural message out there with products, through books, through being on webinars and podcasts like this one that you were so generous to have me on. But that's going to become the mission of my life. And I believe as that happens, that the natural is going to become all consuming. And the day will come when I'll have to leave conventional cardiology practice behind.
And Mr. James, what would be your piece of advice for those people that want to be a cardiologist or electrophysiologist? And thank you uh for that goals in life, and looking forward for more success and good luck.
Yeah, thank you. So you're asking me, what would I tell
Piece of
somebody who wants
advice.
to be a cardiologist?
Yes, just
Well,
like you.
that's good. It's a long road, but we see young people rising up and coming into training who are spectacularly talented. Um, but basically, you have to get really good grades. You have to get excellent grades and have a well-rounded life. Do important and interesting things outside of medicine and outside of your studies to qualify and get into medical school. Get a high score in your entrance exams. And in America, that's the MCAT. Get into medical school and go to the best medical school that you can get accepted to. So you got to complete your medicine. And then, while you're in medical school, don't just study, but make relationships and network with the people who can bring your career forward in the future. And as a pathway to cardiology, right now, you then have to go into internal medicine residency training for 3 years. So get into the best internal medicine residency program you can get. And while you're there, focus on cardiology and network and meet the cardiologist and show your interest and that you have talent in this area. And then when you finish internal medicine, you can get accepted to cardiology. And that's another 3 years of practical study, but it's very enjoyable. And you really learn all things about the heart and all of the technologies that conventional medical practice has to offer. And it's very, very illuminating. And then if you want to subspecialize then into electrophysiology, you get accepted into an electrophysiology fellowship after cardiology training. So you got to just stay on your game, get great grades, work hard, stay inspired, and there's multiple steps that you have to succeed in moving through. But it is very feasible for a motivated and bright individual. So I would encourage anyone wanting to pursue a career in medicine to throw their energy into that endeavor. It's very important that we have good people coming up through the ranks.
Thank you for that advice, Dr. James. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Yeah, thanks. So, um, the first book that I would recommend is Metabolic Cardiology by Dr. Stephen Sinatra. You know, talking through the basics of heart energy metabolism. Um, Other books that have really impacted my view about the possibilities for human health. Um, One of my favorites is Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. It's very popular. Um, but he brings the concept that our genetics are very influenceable. So your thoughts, your state of mind will influence and select the genes that your body expresses. So by changing your mind in a deliberate way, to stay positive, to point in the direction of your dominant goals, the protein expression in your body literally will change over time, and you will literally physically become someone else in that process of self growth, exploration, and discovery. Very, very important concept. And it's true, but it's the practical application of the most recent science. And then one other thing that Dr. Dispenza got me excited about was the possibility of the pineal gland and our potential for quantum interactions through our states of mind and our ability to select and interact with energy and informational sources that are um, well beyond the present dimension that we experience. We can interact with information from all levels of the universe through the power of the pineal gland. And his book organized that in a very important way for me, showing how the seven energy chakras, if you will, that go along our spinal column from tail to crown, seven energy centers, they correspond anatomically to nerve plexus, so a very dense cluster of nervous activity that acts like a mini brain and that's paired to a major gland. And those seven energy centers move up through energy center number six, which is the pineal gland. And that becomes the organ for cosmic intelligence, if you will.
Mr. James or Dr. James, to wrap up our discussion for today, what advice would you give to someone starting to explore natural treatments for heart disease under medical supervision?
Under medical supervision,
Yes.
I would say subscribe to my channel, read my books, stay with my website, and we will guide you on this endeavor. Um,
That,
that will be my greatest advice. What the quality of information that we're going to be providing is truly astonishing. Otherwise, I would say continue to read widely. You continue to clean up your lifestyle. You know, get rid of the processed foods. Go plant based. Um, go whole food organic. Do your best. Eliminate toxicity from your life. Eliminate stress from your life. Um, get a grip on your mental state, and always be aware of your mental state of being and the amount of stress that you're allowing your system to experience. You can control that. You can turn it off, and stay inspired, stay in the game. We're going to have some great books for you coming out. Follow our website, follow our podcast and channel, and it's going to be very exciting to understand what natural products that are available for your use. Of course, discuss everything as much as you can with your local doctor. They know your health the very best. They understand you better than anyone else, and it's important to maintain that positive relationship with your local provider and doctor. That's a big deal, and I don't ever want to step on that relationship with anybody. But sometimes our doctors also need a push to explore natural products and to partner with us in helping us achieve our own health goals.
Dr. James Kneller, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your business, or whatever your projects that you're doing right now?
Daniel, you're awesome. Thank you. I've really enjoyed our time together.
You are most welcome, Mr. James. So where do people can reach you?
www.naturalcardiologyinstitute.com. That's our website, all one word. You can book private sessions with me through there, or just follow our advice. We'll always have a package that's available to everybody without additional costs or for the need for concierge services.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Dr. James Kneller, because if you support him more and more empowering for sure advocacy to come. So, Mr. James, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Daniel. Have a great day.
More to come, people. See you soon.